Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. With me today again, back is the Welsh, and it's you, the Peanuts, the Cracker Jacks, the Randos.
Hi, Randos. Hi.
How
you doing, Randos? Hey.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yesterday, look, see the team Randos. See, look, there's Dr. Glenn, Mr.
Started a
Buster, everybody's team Rando today. Go
Love
Cards, team Rando. Randos make the world go round, Welsh. That's what they do.
Listen, we wouldn't have what we have without randos. So we've listen, how good would a video game be if there weren't random whatever characters just walking around the streets that you could potentially run over? You're playing GTA, or you just talk to for a side mission. You got to have side mission randos. So congratulations to everybody. You can be a side mission rando.
Side mission randos. There you go. Well, we love all of you. We're happy that you're here with us, hanging out, talking some baseball today. A lot of baseball to get to. Let's start with another man with a glorious mustache, shall we, Walsh? Let's start with Miles Mikolas. 1 out shy of the no-hitter, 1 strike shy. Just is crushing. It's terrible. But
I think he said he's like, it sucks. It kind of sucks.
Oh,
his
dude,
quote after. Yeah.
Well, I remember in the 80s that this happened to Dave Stieb on multiple occasions. I want to say he was within a strike twice or 2 outs twice in his career for a no-hitter. Both times didn't get it. I think he did get a no-hitter at some point in time, but there were 2 times where he did not. He was one of the more underrated pitchers of the 80s. But Mikolas, look, he has been absolutely spectacular this year. And, you know, you are getting Jack Flaherty back today for the Cardinals. That's a big addition to this team, to the starting rotation. Now, if you're the Cardinals, you've got Miles Mikolas, you've got Adam Wainwright, you've got Flaherty back. you got a chance to compete right now for this division long term, and they've already overtaken the Brewers. We'll see how long they can hold that spot, but he has been a revelation. He's a player I have no shares of. I'm just curious, what's your take on his performance this year? Because it has been nothing short of outstanding.
Yeah, I actually have a decent amount of shares because it's just one of those cheap guys that you're able to, you're able to get in for back end of rotation stuff. The strikeouts have never been there, but he's obviously become a completely different pitcher since, he came back over stateside a couple years ago. I don't think this is like a linchpin to your offense type of guy or anything like that. I mean, like I said, the strikeouts have never been immaculate, but he's going deep into games. We're seeing more of those guys. We're seeing more of those guys. He
Right.
did get 11 swing and misses.
Pitchers, guys who
Yeah,
pitch, having success and being
like old school
efficient and not trying to
baseball.
strike out everybody. Actual pitching. It's
Yeah,
great to
it is
see.
odd that it's
Yeah.
like old school baseball. And just looking, at that performance, you just don't see this that often. He had 4 different pitches that were double digit in percentile, and he was 1% away from having 4 different pitches be 20% of his repertoire. So, like that is relatively incredible. I would throw out there too, that, the guy doesn't have the biggest stuff in the world. I think he was, as I'm looking here, he did hit 96 on the fastball, averaging around 93. Same with the sinker, and he almost as a 20-mile-per-hour deviation between his lowest pitch, which is his curveball, and the highest on the fastball. You take that type of stuff with okay spin, you take 4 different pitches you're mixing up, you're getting great results. Cardinals are wizards with what they do with pitchers. You have an incredible offense and defense that's around you as well.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are the perfect recipe for success for even the middle line pitcher. And Mikolas is
And Yadier Molina has a lot to do with that. So,
he's all
let's
right.
not forget about that boy. He's pretty
okay.
good at baseball. Wilson Contreras is pretty good too. He went deep twice yesterday in a loss. Luke Voigt, drove in 5 guys and it went over the Cubs. Remember yesterday I was a little sketch on Manaea. I'm glad I was sketch on Manaea. I was not sketch on Gonsolin. He goes to 8-0 and win over the Angels. Look, I know it's sunshine and roses right now for Gonsolin. He's not going to be 20-1. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to come back around at some point. Chris Bassett spends 8 shutout innings to win on Tuesday. Fun fact here, nobody has had more shutouts so far this year than the Mets. So that's a very interesting thing. That's telling you that they've got good defense, bullpen, starting pitching, offense, the whole 9. Tyler Mahle was one of our favorite pitchers yesterday. I told you he's been on a really good streak. He is pitching his way out of Cincinnati. He can help somebody. No decision, but 12 strikeouts. So really good. 9 shutout innings for him. Zach Davies.
That was a perfect matchup, by the way, just throwing it out with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
perfect 100%. Matchup against the Diamondbacks. And he is underlying one of those guys, even when he had like a 6 ERA, one of those guys that you wanted to make sure you got because all the underlying strikeout measures there. He had 18 swing and misses yesterday in that matchup, which again, pitching your way out, he will be one of those guys. He is very Joe Musgrove-esque to me. It's like, get him out, put him on a good team, and all of a sudden, he really has a chance to be elite if he can put it together on a nightly basis, but you did face the Diamondbacks, who are strikeout machines. But
yeah,
go on.
Oh, look, it is. And Zach Davies at the Diamondbacks, Bachman's favorite pitcher, went 7 scoreless innings. Logan Webb struck out 9, so it was good to see him have a solid outing, a really strong, I think everybody kind of needed a big Logan Webb outing, so this was very good. Jesus Aguilar went dong twice. Rhys Hoskins, 2 home runs. That's who Bogman picked yesterday. I believe Mayer picked him as well. So there you go. Also, the Boston Red Sox are going to be recalling Jarren Duran. And Corey Knebel will be pitching in lower leverage situations for the Phillies. Welsh, what do you make of this?
I don't
lower
like
leverage.
That. Don't like that at all. My shares hate that. That's like nice speak for being like, well, he sucks.
You're out of the closer role. Yeah.
And we can't put you in anything that's important. So we're going to put you at the kids table. You're going to the kids table in the 6th inning. Maybe we're down by 6 runs. That's where we're going to go. That's not a good place to be. And because now we're back into this rotating chair of, again, we talk about trades so much. Philly would be in a great spot to just go get somebody locked down. If they're not going to develop somebody, or maybe they simply do.
But who's out there, Welsh? Realistically, what closers are out there available on the market that they could add on bad teams right now and pluck away somebody who's good enough to add? That's an improvement.
Well, David Bednar. David Bednar would be the number one. They're in the Pittsburgh Pirates, who's absolute. They're trash. But it would take probably a king's ransom. But if I'm a heavy competitive team and I don't have a steady, especially closer on my bullpen, they should go all out. They should pay the price of what it takes to get a guy like David Bednar on the Phillies. I mean, listen, David Bednar has been awesome this year, and he's done it on the Pirates. If you put Bednar on the Phillies, on that type of team, you would probably have Bednar as a top 5 closer at worst, I think, at this point. Maybe not maybe not better. So, I think they should absolutely go to any team that does not have solidified closing that is a high-end playoff team should be. And Philly, that's not what you want to hear. This is not, especially with the manager stuff and, Harper tapered back a little bit. Like, you want to roll. You want to roll, and they need to do that.
Oh, Ken says Melanson's available.
I didn't want to say it. Like, I know Bogman's not here. I didn't want to say it.
Well, this is another guy. Mr. Buster brings up Gregory Soto's been great. I just don't think the Tigers want to deal him necessarily. I don't see them.
But see, I don't think, and that's the problem. None of even the loser of loser teams, they don't want to move these younger controllable closers,
right?
But they understand that these are the assets, and it's got to be a king's ransom. And what's interesting is the market has kind of moved a little bit into understanding you have to pay crazy prices for closers at this point, unless teams are just willing to continuously develop. If they want to develop some of their other arms, if they got starting pitchers that aren't working and they want to like how Boston was doing with Houck, that's what you got to do. But Philly's not doing that, and Knebel being out is bad news.
In a bigger meta conversation, Bednar, I don't have any Bednar shares, but I do have Soto shares everywhere. And this was my whole thing this year. I was like, I'm not paying. I know you were at the very other end of the spectrum paying for closer. I am not. I refuse to do it now at this point. And I'm just looking for the guys that I think are more likely to just keep the job by default. And maybe they'll pleasantly surprise you and pitch well for a bad team. And Soto's like the poster child for that strategy working out this year. He's been outstanding. All right, let's go to some of the injury notes. There's a lot to get to on here today. Hyunjin Ryu out for the year officially with the elbow. That is now official done. We knew it was coming. There you go. Wah, wah, wah. Anthony Rendon is aggravated his wrist again. Poor Anthony Rendon, man. I just feel terrible for this guy. He can't stay on the field. Also, Astros had to place your boy Jeremy Pena on the injured list with a thumb issue. And a little bit of bad news here for all of us who have investments in Fernando Tatis Jr. He has not been cleared to resume swinging the bat yet. I guess the latest round of the imaging said that it hadn't healed to the point where they feel comfortable with that activity. Yeah. So what was looking like things were progressing at a faster clip, maybe have to slow down a little bit. So my guess is sometime after the All-Star break would be what
I don't know if it's like
at, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's bad news. I didn't necessarily look at it as like it's bad. I
guess it's not bad news. It's not. The trajectory was starting to go in the early sense. Yeah. Now it's not. So now you're back
because
to the
he's like a freak
timetable, I guess.
He's a freak, right? And how in his recovery times and stuff. So I think when you saw, okay, he's going to have imaging. He's been out there. Here we go. But they just said it hasn't healed to the point. They're taking it week by week. I will say there's video out there that he was actually taking full-on grounders infield stuff. Not anything insane, but, he was able to take the grounders, do full throws. They had said he was doing it the other day, and all he was simply doing was just taking the grounders and nothing else. This was like full-on boom, boom, get the ball, turn it back, and throw. I think that's a really good sign. When they give him the go, he's going to fly. I don't think this is going to be a situation where they're like, all right, so let's go to complex, go to rookie. Now let's go to A ball, let's go to double. It's like, no, dude's been with the team the whole time. I honestly would not even be shocked if they're like, no, we're not going to even do a rehab stint. We're just going to put him out there. I really, really, truly believe. I mean, it would be crazy because of the time he's missed, but I don't know if it is that bad. You got the All-Star game about a week away, about a month away, not a week. That'd be great. About a month away. I still kind of feel like it's going to be an after All-Star break type of thing, but he's got to get some positive signs if that's going to happen. So
yeah, he does. Frustrating because he's such a great talent. He's so fun to watch, and to not have him on the field, it's tough. Plus, it puts the Padres in this bad spot too. I think they were getting anxious to say, okay, maybe we're ahead of schedule now. We're not. Don't be surprised if they don't make a move for somebody. They need some more offense on that team. I'm just telling you, they just do. I mean, and he's an aggressive GM. You're 100% right. All right, let's get to, can we talk about this? And let's talk about Bob Nightingale, who tweeted, Atlanta has, we'll talk about his tweet.
Yeah,
Atlanta has pulverized the opposition 92-39 in these last 13 games that they've won, with a 2.78 ERA, leading all baseball with 32 home runs. Now they've lost Albies, but still Welsh. He will eventually heal and come back. We talked a little bit yesterday just about like the win total of Braves, but today I want to talk about something else, which is their odds to win the National League, which is plus 700. They are the defending champions. They are going to get Soroka back. They have that great pitching from Fried and Kyle Wright. Obviously, Acuna, Riley, Olsen, healthy Albies at some point. Are we sleeping on the Braves a little bit? All we talk about is the Mets and the Dodgers in the National League, and those guys we're talking about plus 220 in the consensus at BetMGM, plus 350 for the Mets, plus 220 for the Dodgers. That's the consensus line. But the Braves number is still 7-1. That's a really solid number for a smaller investment. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I was preseason Braves. I didn't think the Mets were going to be as good as they are. 5 games back. So, you have Philly underperformed. We just talked about Philly and the bullpen and just everything. They're 9.5 games back from the Mets, 4.5 down from the Braves. The Marlins have been, wishy-washy. Nationals out of it. It really looks like it's a 2-horse race. I hate Albies being out. I really hate it for this team, especially when you get Acuna back. I do love the performance, like the upping performance of some of the pitching. Like Spencer Strider has come in and really benefited this team. Michael Harris has obviously been really solid. I think this is a bet you can make. I don't think this is a safe man's bet. I think there's a lot of people that approach gambling.
But it's a small investment. I mean, you put $20 on this, you win 140. If it does, $20 is going to break you.
Yeah, but I don't think
that's the way I look at this investment.
But I don't think a lot of people. I mean, it's all balanced. I don't know how many people they're big in anything they do in gambling is based on all futures. We're talking like simply futures here. If you like to, okay, so here's a better way to put it. If you are a futures person and you really like to dabble in futures, this is a great bet. Is this the bet that's jumping out at you and you don't really do futures and you should do it? I think if you like to play really risky, yeah, absolutely, because it's a great payday. I just don't think it's a safe man.
Look,
but
if you want to play really risky, I don't even know if it's really risky. Plus 1,400 Cardinals are fascinating. I mean, that's double what the Braves are. I'm just saying, now's an interesting time for the long shots
to win the entire National League. Yeah. Well, 14
to win the National League,
are 14-1.
14-1 right now. That's a consensus betting pros line. They're 13-1 on FanDuel, but BetMGM has a 14-1. DK has them at 14-1. It's an interesting conversation that, despite losing Albies too, 7-1 is still a really good number. 14 is extraordinary. And I think you want to talk about a cake division. The National League Central is a cake division. The Cubs are terrible. The Pirates are terrible. The Reds are getting rid of everybody they can.
I bet
Drury's going to be off that team. Drury's another guy too that I think is going to help a contender. Somebody's going to want him. It almost reminds me of, how Asdrubal Cabrera was always a player that was useful to teams. I feel like Drury's that guy. He's versatile. He can play different spots. Swings a pretty good bat. He's been in the league a long time. He's a pro. He's like at that Asdrubal Cabrera kind of quality about him. So.
I'll bet you Cardinals division for Central is like minus 300. There are 3 of the 5 teams in the division are 1-9 over the last 10 games, 1-9, and the Reds are 5-5. So there's not a team over 500 in the Central.
Cardinals are
over the
plus
last 10.
110 to win the division right now.
They're
still plus
stupid.
Money. They were plus.
I mean, the Brewers are
2.5.
Week. That feels like free money.
Well, Brewers are minus 177 consensus still.
1-9 in the last 10 too. What are the Braves for the East?
The Braves for the East, just to answer that question, let's take a look here. Well, the Mets are minus 235 because they have padded their late plus 250. The Braves for the East.
Okay, and then they're 5 back. Yeah, that's fun. I like the Cardinals bet way more than I like the Braves bet for. If you wanted to take that risk for the entire NL, the Braves and the Cardinals both for the division, I think, are fun bets as well.
Another fun one too. I mean, this is fantasy. It's also betting. Is Paul Goldschmidt? Okay, I've been harping on the Paul Goldschmidt. I told everybody I made an investment in Goldschmidt. I told you on Friday, right? I said it's time to go move into the Goldschmidt for NL MVP conversation. 9+ hits, 9+ RBIs, 6+ runs scored, 5 extra base hits, 4+ home runs, 0 strikeouts over a 2-day span. The only other guy to do that, Ty Cobb in 1925. That's the last time anyone had a run like this.
I heard he's good.
Yeah, Paul. And I remember last year after he started slow, and then people were like, "Oh no!" And you talk about Goldschmidt and Arenado with the corners. You see what the Cardinals have done. Cardinals are one of the best organizations in baseball history. I mean, it's just unbelievable how they constantly reinvent themselves.
And if Tyler O'Neill can come back, he just recently came back from injury. If he can come back and just kind of get
Carlson's hitting now too, all of a sudden too.
Carlson's hitting. If O'Neill gets back into form, they're massively a problem. They are massively a problem.
This is a fun one here. The Astros are minus 1,400 already.
Are they
to win the
really?
West.
I hope they are. I hope that's a real. Is that a real number? Give me the real number.
No. Oh, no, it is. The consensus line is minus 1,400. He's right.
Way. They're 8.5 above
12,
the Rangers.
minus 12 at BetMGM.
I want to
1,200.
point this out. This is how bad. Okay, this is one of the things why we can continue having. We won't, but we can continue having this Ohtani MVP situation. The Angels are third in the division. It's a big number, but they're still only 9.5 back from the Astros on June 15th. And the Astros are minus 14. They're 14-1. A negative.
Vegas doesn't like fired
1,400?
managers. Vegas senses blood in the water when you fire a manager, and typically they're right. That's why they build those hotels. Okay. They build these hotels off of good data that typically when you fire a manager, things do not go well. Every now and then it does, but the vast majority means there's a problem. Also, shout out to, this is like the love of the Cardinals. Go Cards is loving the show today. Go Cards.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. You got to love this. Yachty at the very top, 14,865 putouts as a catcher, the most all-time in Major League Baseball history. That is impressive. Today in Major League Baseball history, Reds' Johnny Vandermeer threw his second consecutive no-hitter 84 years ago on June 15th in 1938, and he did so on 3 days rest, the only pitcher in MLB history to throw back-to-back no-hitters. So Johnny Vandermeer gets a shout-out on the show today.
Back in my day, they
back in my day, I remember Johnny Vandermeer. Johnny, good old Johnny
throw
Vandermeer.
Every other day, no hitters. They throw 20 miles an hour and get no hitters.
Vandermeer's a great, like, old-timey last name, isn't it, too? Like, we're having dinner at the Vandermeers, I believe, this evening.
I immediately am like, it's a Harry Potter villain, so... but
Vandermeer?
It's very villainous or old or for sure. Lord Johnny Vandermeer.
Johnny Vandermeer. All right,
you do that a little too good.
I do it very well. I'm still trying to decide, am I Voldemort or Dr. Evil for Halloween this year for the show? I don't know which one, but maybe we get a poll up there.
I'm thinking maybe Lord Voldemort.
I don't know, but I feel like Dr. Evil I can sustain longer and answer people's questions in a funnier fashion. I mean, Voldemort might be a little dark for a while. But anyway, speaking of dark, every team in Major League Baseball has had a Rookie of the Year except one. Can you name that team? That's the trivia question for today. So if you know the team that's never had a Rookie of the Year, drop it in the chat. If you haven't already, subscribe to FantasyPros MLB channel. And then you can become an official Peanut and Cracker Jack. Oh, here's one. Mr. Buster says, I should be Dr. Evil and you should be Mr. Bigglesworth. That'd be very funny.
It'd be hilarious.
What are you doing?
I'd rather be the shark with lasers. I'm a shark with laser. I'll just be a shark with a laser on me.
If somebody asked me how much fab should I spend on, player, I was like, $3 billion. That's how much you should spend on him. I think it's a great idea. All right, let's go to some of the stat heroes. Tyler Mahle, we talked about him, 12 Ks, 9 innings, 8 2/3 for Miles Mikolas, 6 Ks. Chris Bassett was brilliant, 7 Ks. Gonsolin, 6 Ks, and no earned and 6. Nick Pivetta, another one. I'm telling you, Nick Pavetta's been on this roll. I don't know if this is the new Nick Pivetta. I don't know if it's the Nick Pivetta we can believe in. But holy crap, this guy's been outstanding, and I keep pounding the table for him in these tournaments on DK as a secondary arm, and I hope you've been using him, but he has been money, man. 8 innings, 1 earned run. Yeah. Goldschmidt, 4 for 4 with 2 dongs. We also had 2 homers from Hoskins, 2 from Contreras. Ryan Mountcastle hit a home run. Mike Mayer lost his mind, I'm sure. He took his shirt off, rubbed oil on himself, ran around the house. Travis d'Arnaud, 3 for 5, 1 home run. Luke Voigt hit a home run. Michael Harris hit a home run as well. And Jesus Aguilar, 2 for 5 with a dinger. Can you talk to me about Michael Harris? Give me the scouting report on Michael Harris, because a lot of people asking questions about him in the chat.
Yeah, he's a crazy plus speed, great defender, makes tons and tons of contact. One of the big things that he had done over the last year and a half or so is he'd really started to develop into power, which was like a huge key for him. Just pulling up here, just so I have the stats in front of me. So far this year in the minors, he had 5 homers, 11 stolen bases with a 305 average. Last year, 7 homers, 27 stolen bases with a 294. And the home run clip looks like it was doubling again. So this is one of those guys with high contact ability that was starting to learn to hit for power. He's a game changer. He's a 5-tool. I think he's a 5-tool potential, but ultimately he's one of those guys that you would put at the top of the order. I actually think you could maybe get like shades of the good Victor Robles. Remember the Victor Robles you wanted?
Mm-hmm,
I think that's where like Michael Harris is. Like he's going to make a ton of contact. He does have a beautiful swing. He's probably not.
I was going to say Michael Taylor is a player he reminded me of.
No, Michael Taylor's a lot bigger.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, like, more like of what you could expect from him, kind of thing, like that.
Yeah,
Michael
probably
Killer should have vibe.
like in a season at I don't want to call it peak, but like projectable. I would
Mhm.
put Michael Harris as like a 15-30 type of guy, which is going to be very, very valuable. A fantastic defender for that team. And it's on a great team that's going to let him be hyper aggressive on the base path. So, I mean, he had
Victor
11 stolen
Robles.
bases early on.
We're getting trolled by Mayor here. Victor Robles was never really good. No, I can't answer
Well,
that.
no,
All
I
right, let's
said
go.
the Victor Robles, the good Victor Robles that we wanted, that we were
That we
hoping we
wanted. We
would
saw
get.
some
Yeah.
glimpses, but unfortunately, just never happened.
No.
Trent Fleming was the first to get the answer right. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I was gonna say the
Arizona
D-backs, but I didn't want to
Diamondbacks.
be the stupid homer that I always can be about it. But what stopped me was I was trying to remember Upton. Did Upton do it? Because we haven't had a lot of good rookies as a Diamondback fan. Drew, I don't
No
think played well in
Upton.
his, but
No,
Upton
no
was
Brandon Webb. None of those guys. Nope.
no, I
Nope.
didn't even
Nope.
think
Nope.
Webb. So all right, yeah, I mean Arizona Diamondbacks makes sense. I mean they're only
Webb won a Cy Young though, but he didn't
yeah, he
win
did
Rookie
win a
of the
Cy
Year.
Young, but I don't think he was good in his rookie year. It took him a while to really find. It took him a little bit. I remember watching to find that ground ball like success rate. Like you can throw sinkers and stuff, but it doesn't mean you're going to be successful with it. It took him a little bit. But I thought Upton was my one, but I mean the team's only been around for whatever,
Yeah. Oh, you
30
figured it was
some years.
a later team, but some of these, like the Rays have had a few. It's some of the expansion teams over the years have actually had a bunch because they've had to grow these young talent, and they got a lot of high draft picks. So sometimes you convert them. But I thought that was very interesting that Arizona was the only team in MLB that doesn't have or ROI in their history. The most ever, by the way, is the Dodgers between Brooklyn and Los Angeles. They are a rookie of the year machine. Nobody's had more than the Dodgers in
Does say
terms of
what the
history.
number is?
Yeah, I have to go back and bring it up there.
You don't have
it was
to.
a lot.
I was just
It
curious
was a
because I
lot.
think that is interesting. It's going to be a bit. I mean, Diamondbacks got a couple guys coming up: Corbin Carroll, Jordan Lawler. This coming draft in about a month. They have the 2 overall picks, so they got some high volume type of guys. It's just put that stuff together, man. They don't do it. They don't do it.
Sean Manaea was a dud. 5 earned, 4 innings. Trevor Rogers. I mean, I'm just intervention. Can we have an intervention like on How I Met Your Mother when they used to have that banner? They would have like interventions for their friends. I need one for Trevor Rogers. We just need to figure something out here.
I think
I've never been more disappointed in a player than I've been in Trevor Rogers this year.
I think there's something
after
easy
what
to
he
figure
showed
out.
last year.
You just
What do you think it is?
you take your mouse, you go and you click over by his name, depending where you are.
Okay.
Sometimes there's a little red stripe.
Yeah, I see the red stripe.
There's some numbers. Sometimes there's some letters. There's one. Look for the one.
Okay.
DROP. And then you click that.
Okay.
And then hit yes.
And okay, yeah, there you go. Drop.
There you go.
So
Success. That's the best thing you can do with Trevor Rogers. Doesn't it feel better?
It's the only thing. I do. I feel glorious. By the way, the answer to your question, because I just looked it up, the Dodgers have 18 rookies of the year. 18. The next closest is the Yankees with 9.
What would that equate to? Wouldn't that equate to like 10% of baseball's rookie of the years, NL's rookie of the years?
Since the award in 1940 something, or whatever they started.
Then that's
47. Well, you got to realize they had 47, 49. It's like the Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb years, right? 49, 52, 53, 60, 65, 69, 79 through 82, right? So in the 60s, they had like the Koufax, Drysdale, all that group. Then in the 70s, they had that run, right? 79 to 82, where they had some fantastic young players. 92 to 96, which was the Hideo Nomo period, Raul Mondesi period, if you remember those dudes, right? That was that run where they had 4 in a row. 4 in a row, 92 to 96, and then 2016 and 2017 too. I mean, just miraculous.
And if the Rookie of the Year award is 80 years old and they accumulate 18 of them, I mean, they are closing in on 25% of Rookie of the Years have gone to the Dodgers.
Here's that run, by the way: 92 Eric Karros, 93 Piazza, 94 Mondesi, 95 Hideo Nomo, then Todd Hollandsworth closing out 96, ladies and gentlemen. Todd Hollandsworth. Let's go. Didn't expect that on today's show. Hitters who sucked yesterday: Josh Rojas, 0 for 4, 3 Ks. Brandon Marsh, 0 for 3, 3 Ks. Back to his old habits. Brendan Rodgers, 0 for 4, 3 Ks. So it's a short-lived good burst for Rodgers. Bo Bichette, 0 for 5 with 3 Ks. Cody Bellinger, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. And then we had someone named Tucupita Marcano go 0 for 8 yesterday.
Yeah,
Tucupita
Marcano, former Padres prospect.
Marcano,
Yeah,
Getting
that's
lost in
Are,
the rain.
I know we can't get drawn into this too much. Are you at all worried about Bo Bichette? Just throwing it out there. Batting average
Great question.
265, highest career K percentage, at least since his rookie year. ISO's down.
I have a
He's still
question.
projected
I have
around
a counter
20
question for
something
your
homers.
question. Somebody just
Okay,
asked me, would you trade Josh Hader for Bo Bichette? And I said, ooh, it's a head-to-head category league.
just redraft.
Yeah, redraft head-to-head categories. Would you make that trade?
I
That's
would
tough,
trade
man.
my Hader for Bichette.
You would do it.
I
No?
assume
Yes?
I'm assuming if you're doing it, you've got other
Well,
closers
he
or you're gonna
doesn't. He
punt the
said he would just be
position.
putting starters into the closer role. So basically, you're punting saves, which is
You're
okay because
punting.
you're giving yourself bigger chances on W's.
You know
So
what? I would, because if all you have is Hader holding you up, you're probably middle lining in saves if that's the only guy that you're putting out there, and you're not
true.
if you can't bring in any Sotos or anything like that. I would. I guess there's just something about like 2 months of this that makes me a little bit worried. His contact percentage is the lowest of his career. It's down 4 points from last year, which I don't love. His swinging strike percentage is the highest. Looks like he's really been struggling with continuously off speed sliders and stuff. And it's the second lowest contact percentage. It's 2.5 points lower than it was last year. And it just hasn't changed. And I guess that's what worries me just a tiny bit. But still, even that projection systems are closing in on 30 homers and double-digit stolen bases. So I guess you can't complain. He's just not the same player. And that actually is a perfect example, I think, of a good discount that you can get in Bo Bichette for Hader, except Hader just represents the pinnacle of one specific position. But yeah, if you only got one
you made some
dude,
good points here.
I think I would.
All right. Plus, there gets more closers in the second half. They'll pop up on the waiver wire when guys get traded. Let's look at the home run board. Pretty much the same as yesterday. Two other people. One of them might be named Mike Mayer, also tied at 19 after yesterday's Hoskins home runs. But
I like that he's not on it. I like that it's Joey P at 19 and not Mike Mayer.
Just two other people. Let's talk about some betting pros, and let's talk about BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Bet $10, win 200 whenever you use that promo code leading off. New users, go to BetMGM, download the app, or go to betmgm.com. When you do, bet $10 to win 200. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. That's what you do over at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Again, leading off, one word, that is the promo code to use. Today, I got Corbin Burns on the over on the strikeouts at 6.5. That number's on DK, minus 135. At Sugar House, Teoscar Hernandez is at 1.5 total bases. That is at minus 117. I like that number. I like the plus 120 number on the total bases, 1.5 on Mike Trout on DK. Same with Mookie Betts. You get even money on the 1.5 total bases. You've got some McClanahan interest this day. Is that correct, Welsh? Yes?
It's always McClanahan. It's always. I mean, I'm always going to want to play McClanahan when he goes out there. So you should be able to pick that apart from me. McClanahan's at 6.5 on the over for against the New York Yankees. What I like about it, he has 7 straight, he struck out 7 in 6 of his last starts, in 6 straight starts, and against the Yankees, I'm just totally tied up here. Against the Yankees, which I believe was his second or third start ago, he had 7. So 6 straight games where he's had at least 7 or more strikeouts. The prop is at 6.5. I always bet it. They're actually, the algorithm here is telling you to play the under. At least it likes the under because it's at 105 plus money. But I'm going to take the over on McClanahan. It's a half decent team to go up against the Yankees. And then I'm actually going to go against something that I always want to do. I always want to bet Spencer Strider. I always want that number. But the books have put it so high. You never see, they don't even dabble at 4.5 or 5.5 anymore. So this is actually an agreement I have with the Betting Pros MLB prop sheet, which you guys can check at Betting Pros. Just if you also can type in prop sheet, Betting Pros prop sheet, and it'll pop right up. They've got the under on strikeouts for Spencer Strider, and he's going up against Washington. Washington strikes out the second least in Major League Baseball. Strider has only hit 7 strikeouts twice this year, and he's only gone over 5 innings once. He's obviously getting into form a little bit more. They're stretching him out a bit more, but this is not the team that I would be looking for him to be able to get 7 strikeouts on. So I actually really like the under on Spencer Strider, and I love the over on McClanahan. So,
all right, DFS is simple tonight, boys and girls. Shane McClanahan versus Nestor Cortez. Pick a side. I'm going to pick the McClanahan side. Then I'm going to go with Barrios as the secondary arm at 8.9 because he has been better lately. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a chance on that. If you want to switch it around, go with Corbin Burns, have a McClanahan lineup with Berrios, have a Corbin Burns lineup with Berrios. I think that's the way to go. Single pitcher site, you have a McClanahan lineup, you have a Nestor Cortez, you have a Corbin Burns. If you want to play in cash, you have to kind of pick and choose. I'm still on the McClanahan side. He's just been so dominant. That's the way I'm going. And then Berrios is your tournament pitcher at 8.7. Stacks tonight, San Diego, Boston, St. Louis. DK lineup builders, you got Nico Horner 3.4, Dylan Carlson at 3K, Adam Duvall at 3.5. Also Justin Turner on FanDuel at 2.6, Teoscar Hernandez at 2.5, and Frank Schwindel at 2.5. Also, I'm going Manny Machado tonight in Chicago for my dinger. Where you going, Welsh, for your home run?
I'm going to go back to my roots. I'm going to go back to what got me here. Byron Buxton. I'm going back to Byron Buxton. Got a great career PVB versus or BVP versus Marco Gonzalez, who's going up against tonight. And I would also add, I like the total base marker for him as well. It's even money. He hits Gonzalez pretty well. I'm going back to Buxton. I need to get back to those roots.
There you go. There you have it. Mike Mayer continuing to stay with his boy Rhys Hoskins. He is doubling down. So we'll see if that works for him. And if you want to get in that home run contest, join our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat, free to join. But if you're a premium pro subscriber, you get access to stages with Welsh, AMA channels with me, and all kinds of fun stuff. And you can also participate in the Ryan Mountcastle channel that Mike Mayer has spearheaded, which is very, very popular.
You know what?
It's
I
Mike
bet there
Mayer
is that channel.
and Mike Mayer. I think those are the two people in it.
And Ryan Mountcastle. Like, I could see that channel being something where he added Ryan Mountcastle.
Actually, it's a guy named Brian Mountcastle. So I don't know if that's even.
I like the idea that there's a room that Mike Mayer sits in every day, and then he sent an invite to Mountcastle, and he's just every day. It's him waiting for Ryan to join the room. Did he join today?
We need a Twitter campaign for Ryan Mountcastle to follow Mike Mayer on Twitter.
Totally
that's all I want. If he hasn't already, he probably does.
Oh, you know what? I know we got to go. Who would be the one baseball player that should follow each person? And Buxton would clearly be mine. Should follow me. Mountcastle for Mayer. Who would be yours
for me?
I don't know.
That's a good one. I'm the
man
of the
obscure.
people.
Man of the people. Oh, I'm the man of the people. Everyone should follow me. I'm Joe Pizzapia.
No, I don't know. I would probably want somebody who is maybe very unliked. Maybe that would be funny. It's almost Angel Hernandez. I want Angel Hernandez to follow me. No, thank you. I don't need Trevor.
No.
On that note, we're getting out of here before this goes awry. Thanks for hanging out with us, talking some baseball. We'll be back again tomorrow at noon Eastern to do it all again. Plus, check out the buy low, sell high video that it's up on Fantasy Pros MLB right now. Make sure you like this video and subscribe as well to Fantasy Pros MLB channel over on the YouTube. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.